Ciaran, you've had the opportunity to look back on Saturday's win over Chester Street Town. What's your thoughts a few days on?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good performance. I said that we wanted to start really well in the game. Referred back to the game we had at their place, where we all kind of agreed as a team, as players and staff, that we didn't turn up for it, and we wanted to make sure that we started the game really well and built up momentum. I felt we started reasonably well, and built on that, and in key moments did really well in some good ways, and I think that kicked us on. We were always going to concede opportunities at some point in the game, but I felt we dealt with them really well. I was disappointed with the goal that we conceded, but we've talked about that and understood the why and what we can do better on that. And I mean, the good thing is I feel that in those instances, I think there are simple things that can be fixed, and it's just about being able to do that consistently, game by game. So overall, really pleased. Good to get the win, 3 points to kick us on with what will be a really difficult game this weekend.
I imagine it coming in the stadium. I know it's 90 minutes of football, but the win coming in this stadium will have meant quite a lot to the girls. Yeah. We spoke about that, and I think I spoke about it before the game with yourself around coming into a home environment, in a stadium environment where there was an opportunity for friends and family to be there in front of the players and for them to go out and sort of give a good account of themselves, which I really felt everybody involved did. And to get that over in terms of that first instance of being at home and doing that, certainly in my time, was really pleasing leading into the 2 games that we have at the stadium. I did allude to the fact previously that having the games away from home at the stadium environments where we didn't pick up the points we would have wanted to, but having that experience of going through that against crowds against us and things like that, I felt gave us a good bit of a platform to be able to go into these games, with a little bit of confidence to go and kick on. This is an opportunity this weekend. It'll be kind of the full match day experience at the stadium as well, the use of the main changing rooms and things like that, and an added extra, I suppose, for this weekend.
Yeah, it is. It's where we want to be, though, isn't it? And it'll be a great occasion again. It'll be business as usual in terms of how we prep for it, of course. And I think we're all really looking forward to it. Like I said, coming off the back of the win here last week, I know it'll be slightly different in terms of how we're structured and set up to be able to, logistically get through the kind of start of the day. But I don't envisage there to be any problems. I expect there to be more excitement, nerves as usual, which is completely standard and natural. And then just when that whistle goes, we're ready for what's to come.
As you mentioned, likely to be a tough test this weekend. Durham Cestria doing really well this season.
Yeah. And of late, really. I know they didn't get the result they wanted at the weekend against Hull, but I know they're probably a little bit hard done by with some of the decisions that went against them late on in the game. But they're a well-drilled outfit. I watched them just before I took over against the Bells, back in November, I think it would have been. So at that time, I was quite impressed with how they were set up. But I certainly think that if we turn up and we do the things that we know we're good at, and we rely on sticking to those principles that we've been working on, then we'll certainly compete. And I think if we turn up in those key moments, like I say, then there's no reason why we can't go on and get a result.
Away from the action on the pitch, we'll be launching the new Bells Hall of Fame, honouring the players that have come before, and particularly the ones initially that have gone on to play for England as well. I know you're very much looking forward and driving this club on, but you've touched on a lot the history of this club and the great history.
I think it's really important. I think sometimes in society we can be a little bit guilty of forgetting the past too easily. Especially in a game that's emerging now and has grown in leaps and bounds over a short space of time. We need to celebrate and recognise the history of what was before that and the challenges that people had being involved in the game in those stages. And for me, like I say, I do think sometimes we can be guilty of just seeing the here and now and not really thinking about the things that people have gone through to be able to give us a platform to be sat here today. So I'm really delighted that's going to be celebrated in a certain way at this game, and rightly so. And hopefully we can have as many people coming out to do the same, because that's what these players deserve. It's also a nice little link from kind of yesteryear of before to the here and now, and giving everybody that kind of sense of what it means to be a part of the football club, and to wear the badge, and also to see the great players that have come through and gone on to great things, and an aspirational sense of what we want to do as a club. Listen, I'm realistic. I know where we are at the moment, but we were a club at the top. For whatever reason, we've fallen down the leagues, but there's no reason why we can't, with the right support and the right people, which I feel we have here, that we can push on and try and aspire to be great again. And it's, for me, it starts here and now. It starts every single day, every single training session, every single game, and it's a reset every week where we have to go again. And that kind of brings in that element of trying to be consistent week in, week out. But for us at the weekend, it's an opportunity for us to say, this is the old guard, if you like, that have aspired themselves at those times to come through times of adversity, to drive through, to do and play the sport that they love, to the here and now and what it means. And that's all part and parcel of creating an environment and a culture of people recognising what it means to have the badge and wear the badge.